recording?
They have to share one hand. Each developer.
I'll do the keyboard, you do the mouse.
That one's Chromecast. Let's put it on Apple TV for now. Do you know how to switch to it in one?
Just fill it.
Hello everyone. Who has heard of Chromecast?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Who owns a Chromecast? Like 2 people, 3 people. That's pretty good.
Stole one.
This is what it looks like. Nick, if you'll pull it out.
I stole one.
Yeah.
That's my house.
That's what it looks like. Sold by Google. I guess we should start off. This is my buddy Nick.
Hello.
Let me tell you a little bit about Nick. He has an impeccable pogo stick collection. He works full-time as a nude model, and in his spare time, he whittles spoons for those less fortunate.
Wow.
That's Nick.
So Eric told me we were going to introduce each other, and I thought it was going to be something truthful. So what I came up with is much different. So this is Eric. This is Eric. By day, he's a web designer, developer for 24-hour fitness. By night, he's an iOS developer that makes iOS apps for his 4-year-old daughter, Ellie. Eric also likes tormenting his friends by challenging them to feats of
Lots of push-ups. Lots of push-ups. So they usually win. It's great.
No, it's great. I don't want that impression at all.
All my stuff I said about you is true. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't whittle.
So yes, the Chromecast. The Chromecast. It's $35, sold by Google. Most notably known for, playing videos, either YouTube or Netflix or Hulu. You can stream it and control it by your phone and kind of cast it up to the TV. That's the big idea. For the Chromecast, 2 million units sold,
Yeah,
plus or minus.
plus or minus.
And it's a glorified Android device that has only a browser on it. It's meant to act as a anonymous browser.
Yeah. So basically, you plug it at an HDMI port on your TV, and it's powered by USB. So if there's a USB plug, you also plug that into the TV, or you can plug it on the wall. So what we're going to talk to you about is when the Chromecast first came out, it was marketed as, here's a great way to watch Netflix. And Google silently released a version 2 of the software development kit that allows it to do much more than streaming Hulu, YouTube, Netflix. And Eric and I have spent the last few months making these random games for it, which we are going to introduce you to.
Yeah. So version 1 was video only. Version 2 included a message bus. Why don't you tell everybody what a message bus is?
So message bus. You want to switch to the next
Yeah,
slide?
sure.
So message bus is sort of a design methodology that a bunch of things say, I'm interested in receiving a certain type of information. And then another thing just puts random messages onto this bus, indicated by the
School bus. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
and only the
not really a school
devices,
bus.
devices or clients that are interested in that information can pull out that information. So you can put all kinds of things on the message bus that nobody cares about, and the things that do care about can pull it up and do things with it.
Yep. So that was the big upgrade in version 2 of the SDK. And so tonight, we wanted to show it to you guys. We started brainstorming. Well, what should we do? We came up with 2 ideas. One is on the left, which is a beer board, and we're going to be like, okay, when you drink a beer, you check it in and you rate it. And then on the right, we went with a much easier idea. It's a counter, kind of a generic counter you can use for anything. You can connect to the Chromecast and then count how many beers you drink, or how many times you went to the restroom, or game counter, really anything. So we went with the counter idea.
The simplest one.
Yeah, the easy one, because that made sense last night when we did it. The goals for it was to make clients, either iOS and Android, or iOS or Android. They had to connect to the Chromecast. You should be able to input your name, and then with one button, just increase your count. That was the whole idea. So the way the Chromecast works is the Chromecast, when you plug it in, that is considered the receiver, or the server, if you will. And then there's clients or senders, which are either, it can be a web page, Chrome itself, like from a computer, or Chrome browser, or a phone, or iOS phone. Here's kind of the receiver diagram. As you can see, the Google Chromecast device is there, and it runs Chrome with the receiver application. And when you launch the application, which we'll kind of walk through, It goes out and requests the web page information, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript from media, and then once it gets back, it shows on the screen. The life cycle, which we'll kind of walk through as well. It starts at this double circle on the idle side to the right, and then you initiate connection to the Chromecast. Once you initiate, like a sender says, oh, I'm going to connect to this Chromecast, you launching a specific ID, the Chromecast will go out to the server, scoop up the web page it wants to load, and show it on screen. It's initialized, and then the message bus is open. You can start sending or receiving messages from the message bus.
So Eric said something important there. All this looks really technical and boring, and it didn't have to use the black and white circle diagram thing. Basically, all this little gadget does is load up a website on it, and then that website makes available to you some sort of communication string. And devices or browsers can attach that communication string and send messages back and forth with the website that's running on this little
It's a great point. Great point. So the receiver itself is just HTML, at least the one we're showing today, is just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I built it using Yeoman, Grunt, Bower, Backbone in the Chromecast library, which is just like jQuery. It's this static library you import as a JavaScript file. But just kind of wanted to rip through that real quick. I guess I'll show it if I have. I think I have it up.
So for those of you that are adventurous, open source all of our stuff. It's on GitHub.
Yeah.
GitHub.com.
That's the last slide. That's the last slide. Yeah.
Well, you set up.
Let's put in the middle one.
Yeah. So this is the receiver. It's just an HTML page, index.html, and if I view source on it, I don't know. So I'm not near view page source. So close. All right. You can see it's up at the top. We got some metadata, a couple divs, just one an H1 and H2 saying connector, the title, and then what to do. Down we have Google Analytics stuff. Scroll down here again. And then at the very bottom we have the vendors, which includes the Chromecast library, as well as Backbone, jQuery, underscore, and then the actual application stuff's in main.js. So very exciting. That's the whole receiver. That's everything that's running. We're running it on an S3 bucket on Amazon, but it could be anywhere.
So now that Eric has shown you the receiver, which is a website, we also built an Android mobile app that is the mobile part of that actually connects to that website, and will be sending the stuff for the Chromecast app to display on the TV. So there's really only two parts to this app. One is you launch the app, and if you're familiar with Chromecast, if you've used the YouTube app or anything, there's always this little icon in the top right-hand corner that allows you to discover devices that are on your local network and connect to them. And once you've connected, which causes this little guy to load up the receiver.
Does that help? Or should I go back?
We'll continue on.
Okay.
So when you click on the little icon, it causes your device to scan for Chromecast on your network, and then the Android app or the iOS app or the Chrome browser or whatever says to the Chromecast, I want to start this awesome application. If it's not started, it'll go out to wherever your website is, Amazon S3 in this case, and it'll pull it down, download it to the 100 megabytes of memory on this thing, and display it on your TV. If it's already running, so maybe you're running the YouTube app already, it'll just say to the device that requested the connection, okay, we're already running, go ahead and start sending me messages.
So we have a live demo. Kevin, can you switch to the Chromecast on either or both of our little counter app? Right now, I think we have something else running, something else we made, which we'll touch on briefly.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
You say send messages like through a custom protocol used by your phone to Chromecast, or
So the protocol is proprietary to Chromecast. We don't have a lot of exposure to that. What we do is we post JSON strings to this message bus, and then it translates that JSON string into something that it can send over the wire to the...
But how is that? You post it from your phone using a library on your phone, or you post it to like the IP address of that Chromecast?
You post it to the library. So one of the cool things about the libraries on both platforms and the web platform is you don't have to have knowledge of the IP address of the device. it does discovery based on NetBIOS or Apple's zero config protocol. So it just finds devices on the network, and then the library makes them available to you based on like a device identifier. So you just say, I want to send a message with this identifier to something on the network. And the library figures out, okay, that identifier means this Chromecast, not the one you have downstairs, but the one you have upstairs. So I'm going to send the message. And the message is just a JSON.
Yeah, we do JSON. It's a string, you can put anything in here, but we chose in JSON. So over here, I have it up, our counter app. I've connected. And every time I push this button, that goes up. Can I get a round of applause? Yeah, very excited.
6 beers.
Yeah, I know.
7.
That's surprisingly fast.
Oh yeah,
Compared to
this is great. Yeah, good point.
the
Good
version
point.
1 I used it and it was so slow. Like it couldn't. It was like 2-3 second delay.
So yeah, we actually have built some like real-time games where you're actually moving a character up and down, and the latency between it is like 10 milliseconds. It's very, very low. I mean, there's still latency, you can still tell. And the rendering engine's poor. I mean, it doesn't use WebGL, so it's very like glitchy.
Yeah.
But
The device itself doesn't support hardware acceleration, so no WebGL.
yet, we're hoping version 3 will.
You can still get a JavaScript canvas and draw to it and stuff. But it doesn't do double buffering, no hardware acceleration.
See how high.
But the actual network communication with the device, as long as the Wi-Fi network you're connecting to is not suffering from a lot of dropout,
It doesn't suck.
it's pretty
good.
quick.
Yeah.
Another downside to the dongle itself is it only supports 802.11g. So if you have a newer Wi-Fi router that supports N, then the Chromecast is like, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna shut off. So that's a problem.
So yep, this was the app we had made. We've made it available on GitHub if you want to check through either the receiver or the Android stuff. And we've even thrown up the presentation because it's awesome. So yeah.
So now I'm going to hijack Eric's countdown here and show you the most challenging thing that we tried to make. So everybody's heard of Flappy Bird. We decided at some point, let's make a multiplayer Flappy Bird. It was so successful that it got removed by Google from the Play Store.
That's right.
For unknown reasons, we don't know why they removed it.
No, IP infringement.
We don't know. We don't know.
I have an email. You're right. Yeah, we don't know. It's not on this, so I can't.
So we re-released it as Up-Down Fish. There's no reason why we get taken down for this. So it's a multiplayer version of Flappy Bird.
So we can paste it. We'll open it up to questions. Anybody have questions about development?
What about sending to multiple Chromecasts at one time?
So that is not directly supported.
Oh.
At least from the SDK that they give you has a lot of convenient stuff given into you, like a dialog to choose which device you connect to. And most developers just use it that way, but they do expose a lot of the underlying stuff. So if you wanted to manually, programmatically scan for devices and then connect to multiple at the same time, that is technically possible, but not officially supported.
So the
So yeah, we've had up to like 10 people playing at the same time. We've also done, I guess I'll load it up on the TV.
So I just have a question about what I'm looking at.
Sure.
That's a web page.
Yes, it's a web page.
That's a
Underwater.
canvas or something.
It's a live webcam.
It's just drawn sprites to the canvas, and he has.
This is done with Easel.js or Create.js. It's a HTML5 game engine. Like you said, you load up sprites and there's a tick for a game
You didn't
loop.
hand draw this canvas or whatever.
No.
and on your phone, is it actually a web page hosted by the same server?
Native.
So you're-
No,
it's just
the clients are native.
So you guys are sending JSON to that.
Yeah, essentially,
Right?
yeah. I'm saying,
Yeah.
paddle.
Yeah. One JSON. Yeah, one JSON. Yeah. There's one message to this JSON library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chromecast, and it's sending every time I hit this swim button, it's sending a JSON string to the Chromecast dongle that says, I just pressed the swim button. So then the website's saying, okay, this dude's fish needs to go up one instead of falling to his death.
Is it possible?
So you showed the web page that you would put on the server side.
Right.
Can you show what you created for the phone side?
Yeah, we can load up GitHub and kind of poke through it. Let me switch over to, if you want to.
Yeah, sure. So we purposely left that out because in typical Google nature, their client code is really complex, and they don't pay much attention to how easy it is to read the stuff. So for our own apps, we've kind of created our own sub-library that makes that stuff a little more intuitive for us to use. But Eric can show you some.
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Air displays.
Can you use like Chrome off like your normal computer?
Yes.
Yeah,
In the
Chrome.
same library.
Right.
Is it the same stuff?
It's a different library, so each sender has their own library to include. So Android has a library to include to communicate on the message bus. iOS does, and also, they have a JavaScript version.
Why did they release like the second version of the Chromecast? All these added features, and you said like they quietly released it. Are they not? Are they
Yes,
gonna,
you
like,
can, right? No,
Yeah.
Not a physical Chromecast.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't physical.
The same
It's
device,
just a firmware
they-
update. It's a
They
firmware.
silently updated the firmware on all the devices.
So like, by the way, it's a whole platform now. But whatever.
Yeah. Now you can do really cool stuff like this, but
Google
still the focus has been on media.
Yes.
In the app stores right now, there's like less than 10 games, and they're mostly like trivia
It's just
or.
one day.
So why did you guys decide? You said you
From
did
where
one,
to
but
where?
why did you decide to do it? Because there's only like 10 games.
Yeah.
It's a person party.
That's right.
Those 2 million
You'd
people.
think we'd be doing better. Yeah.
So Eric and I actually got started on a preview version of the firmware. The company that I work for, one of those two gentlemen in the back over there, is a partner with Google on the Chromecast. So we got early access to working with these new APIs, and I went out to Mountain View and like, there's all this cool stuff you can do. And everybody there was building video player apps. This is so boring. I can make Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
Not Flappy Birds.
Flappy what? What?
Yeah.
And for an initial investment of $35, both Eric and I already knew our respective mobile platforms, and Eric is really good at web development and JavaScript. And
Thanks, Nick.
It's kind of a no-brainer for us to spend a couple weekends and make
Hack some
something
stuff out. Yeah.
simple.
Wait, what are you good at?
Oh.
You're never. No, I missed that part.
Android development. Very good.
Way to learn.
I don't
easy,
really
guys.
know what you want to.
Vicious, terrible
I
crap.
know. I was in a bad place.
Can the
we made
Chromecast
like a-
Chromecast
Yeah.
send messages out back to the
Yeah,
device?
so-
Yeah.
The up-down fish is actually a great example of this. When you, if you're playing the app and it's available on Google Play and the iOS App Store,
good to know.
up-down. when your fish actually drops off the screen and dies or hits an obstacle, your phone will flash white and vibrate and make a splash sound because we've constructed the message bus is 2 ways. So the devices can post messages to that bus, and the Chromecast can consume them.
And they listen.
Or
right?
other devices can consume them, or the Chromecast can also post messages to that same bus. So when you hit a wall or you hit a bound, we send a message to the appropriate device saying, "Okay, you're dead. What do you want to do with that information?"
So it's the most underwhelming set of JSON you've ever seen, right? It's like,
Yeah. Well,
It's
like
all
saying,
underwhelming.
Yeah.
Swim. Or,
Yeah.
that is
it's pretty big.
And then you
we
die.
define it ourselves
Yeah.
too, so
Right.
it's as simple as possible.
yeah.
Yeah, it's custom. Whatever you want the receiver to send.
So we've made a few games, and each of these has been about a weekend long. Our first one was Pirate Dice,
Arr.
and it's a riff on a dice game that we like to play with Eric's family called Zombie Dice. I won't go into the rules, but it involves rolling dice, and whoever gets the highest score after some number of rounds wins. So we made a Chromecast game out of it where you can shake your phone, it'll make the dice sound, and let go of your phone, the dice appear on the screen.
You say you don't really like it.
Depends on how many phones you have access.
It's an expensive game.
Yeah.
You check the beer counter first, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, throw it. It's time to throw it.
Crap.
This one was a lot more complicated because we had to deal with sessions. Like when you connect, you get a specific unique ID, and so when you disconnect and connect again, you got to refresh and use that ID. So keeping state on the client to the receiver was tricky, but we did. Any other questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Who is Zach Morris and who is AC Slater
I don't know.
Saved by the Bell.
Questions?
We'll
about
leave it up to you.
Chromecast.
We'll leave it up to you. We'll leave it up to
Questions
you.
about Chromecast.
All right.
What are the limitations on the Chromecast browser? Is it full on Chrome?
Frame rate, yeah, it is. It is. No WebGL, no accelerated hardware. Other than that, you know, it rips through JavaScript pretty well.
Can you put Google Ads on it?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
downside
I mean,
of
it's
something
just
like
a
Google
website.
Ads is there's no way for someone to actually click on them.
So it's just literally.
Impressions.
So
Yeah.
you just get impressions.
Does it
I'm
have,
sure it's
So
against the terms and
live on that
conditions.
money, huh? Impression money is good.
has multiple
I'm not sure. We haven't tried. I suppose it would.
Yeah, I don't know. Once you restarted the Chromecast, it probably flashed.
Yeah. So whenever so it only runs it's sandbox with single app. So as soon as your app has been not made the active app, then it wipes out everything. So even if you did have
Yeah, so
those,
no, not really.
it'll be gone as
Wouldn't
soon as
persist
something else
across sessions.
runs a different app. Okay.
This was Tappy Birds before it was taken down. Not ripping off anything. All right, that's it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.